Hi, I'm Nate Sexton, and this is my 2021 In the Bag. I'm gonna get started with my distance drivers and work my way down into the mid-ranges and then finally do the putters. The first distance driver I'm gonna talk about is the Star Destroyer. It's kind of a staple in most Innova professional and amateur bags. This one is a brand new one that I'm using here in Las Vegas for the first time with my new custom stamp on it. Nice overstable with big high dome on it. Seems to have a lot of glide, and I really like the feel of it so far. Right now for Las Vegas, I'm carrying 5 Star Destroyers, so it's my main distance driver out here. Not a lot of tight gaps, a lot of big long holes, so this is a course for me that demands a lot of distance. So that's my first Destroyer, kind of in the middle of my lineup in terms of stability. Next, I have my most overstable Destroyer. It's this Team Innova stamp. This one I'm gonna use sparingly into headwinds or at times when I really need a lot of fade or big skip. And then I also have this Calvin Heimberg. That's probably my next most overstable disc. This one a little bit more workable for me. I'll use this one in a little bit of wind, or if I just don't really want a lot of right movement, I just want to hammer it straight, let it go up flat for a while, and then finish to the left. These two are my maximum distance Destroyers, a little bit more understable. I've got this blue bottom stamp that's kind of a little bit beat in. It's gonna get a little bit of right movement and then finish back. And then I've got this old trusty one. This is probably my flippiest, although that does remind me, I lied earlier, I have 6 Star Destroyers. So I got one more to show you after these two, but these are maximum distance. The one I forgot was this one. It doesn't even have my name on it, but yet this is just a Sexton shootout stamp, but this is on the very flippy side for a brand new Destroyer. So I threw this in the field before I came to Vegas, and I remembered, like a smart guy, complaining last year about not bringing anything flippy enough for this little bit higher elevation setting than what I'm used to playing in. So that reminded me that I needed to bring a nice flippy one. This is that one. I think this is my flippiest Destroyer, even though it is brand new. The next disc I have in my bag is the EcoStar Excalibur. I have 3 of them right now for Las Vegas. This one being pretty brand new, the most overstable. These are primarily for me distance forehand discs, where the Destroyers are a little more distance backhand, although I will throw those forehand occasionally as well. So this is my most overstable for headwinds or when I really need a hard finish. This one is the medium one. That's gonna be probably my main Excal for the Las Vegas week. And then this black one is a little bit more on the understable side. Still understable is kind of the wrong word though, because they're all still pretty good fade at the end. The next distance driver I have is a Star Wraith with a Big Germ stamp. I carry this just because I'm usually not very nice to Big Germ and I wanted to do something for him to kind of appease all the times that I make fun of him. So I have this Wraith for that reason and that reason only. Also, it's really good backhand and forehand. I like it for a lot of shots. A little bit more narrow rim than the Destroyer. Fits in the hand nicely. So I don't really fully understand why I use it in lieu of a Destroyer, but sometimes I just get that Wraith feeling and I go for this one. I think sometimes when I have a tight gap to hit, or I just want sort of more mellow flight, maybe not as quite as much distance potential, but a little bit more controllable with a little bit slower speed. The first fairway driver I want to talk about, you guys might be surprised I'm still throwing these, but the Sexton Firebird, my number one workhorse, my number one disc that I use. I have 3 2015 Firebirds in my bag right now. This white stamp one is the most beat up and flippiest, so I'll use this for shorter shots or shots where I really want basically a straight flight with just a little bit of fade at the end. So that's gonna be my flippiest one. In the middle is this tricolor stamp, and that's gonna probably be my most thrown disc, I would think, probably for this whole tournament. This might be the one that I use the most. And then lastly, I have this cool yellow stamp one. This one's got kind of a cool story. In 2015, Paul Macbeth and I were stamping these up and making some cool color combos, and I gave him this one. And then he switched, and he was nice enough to give it back, but somewhere along the way, his wife Hannah thought that it belonged to her and gave me this beautiful calligraphy on the bottom. So now this disc's name is Hannah, and she's flying free out here in Las Vegas. And if you want to hear more about the Sexton Firebird, check out this feature video we have. The next disc I'm going to is the Big Germ Swirly Star Thunderbird. I have 2 of them. This one is a little bit more beat in. I've been using it for a couple of years. So this I use for straight shots that just need a little tiny bit of fade at the end. I could even probably throw this pretty flat and get a small amount of turn out of it and even finish it slightly to the right. I also have a really new one that I'm gonna use for more overstable shots when it's not quite maximum distance. These things for me are probably more in the 400 neighborhood, not really pushing them much past 400, but a lot of control, nice disc, and a good guy, so I like to support it. My flippiest fairway driver is the Star Sidewinder. I use this for rollers and turnover shots. Occasionally I'll also use it for standstill shots because I find when I have to put my back to the basket or I'm in a really awkward place, forehand or backhand, I won't be able to generate all that much power. And kind of a little cheat code I figured out is that when I throw a disc like a Sidewinder in those situations, it'll flip up and glide and get a lot more distance than I might be able to achieve with the disc that I would throw from that place if the lie wasn't really awkward. So this is a get out of trouble disc, a roller disc, and a big high turnover disc for me. The next fairway driver I have is a Star Leopard 3. I will use this for backhands primarily, perhaps rollers as well. But when I need a little bit of right turn, but largely a pretty straight flight, a nice mellow finish, I find that these kind of almost fly like a really, really fast mid-range for me. They have such a narrow wing that they're really close in flight to a mid-range where you can get a nice smooth turn and just a slow settling fall down to the basket. So I'll use this for straight shots, control shots, and yeah, like I said, perhaps rollers. That's it for my drivers. Here in Las Vegas, like I said, it is driver heavy, so I only have a couple of mid-ranges. My most overstable is this Champion Cayman. I use this forehand and backhand when I need a 300 or less feet, and I gotta be able to trust the fade, but I don't want a lot of skip. So you'll see me use this in a few situations, especially if it gets windy out there. My next mid-range is the Star Rat. I use this primarily for forehand shots, little approach shots where I wanna limit the skip. So I'll use this up to about 250 feet, not putting a ton of power on it, just looking for a nice flat flight and a little soft fade and settle near the basket. My last mid-range is a KC Pro Rock. I like it a lot for overstable mid-range shots, so I'll throw this out pretty flat or with hyzer. Nice fade to it because it's pretty brand new. Kind of a disc you've got to have. In fact, they may even kick me off the team if I drop the rock from my bag. So this is one I always have with me. Really good for control mid-range shots up to about 350 feet. The first of the two putters that I throw is the Dart. I have two plastics, R Pro and XT. The flippiest one I'm using right now is this red R Pro. I'll use this for long putts, any kind of spin putts or low ceilings, and also approaches and turnover drives. So I'm comfortable throwing this even up to about 300 feet, though I mostly will probably use it inside 175 or so for little backhands, any forehands, and again, long putts. A brand new R Pro, this blue one, is a little bit more overstable, so if there's wind or if I want it to fade a little harder on a short drive, I'll go with this one. And then probably the most overstable and a little bit stiffer plastic is this XT. So this one is more of a driving putter for me. I'm not gonna use this for approaches as much, mostly off the tee when I want a little bit more hook at the end of the flight. And my last disc is my second Tour Series offering, the Nexus Firefly. This is my primary putter. Great blend of stiffness and tackiness. And I use these for all kinds of push putts and spin putts anywhere inside of 70 or 80 feet. Occasionally I'll even throw it for a little approach shot if I don't want a lot of skip or want a little bit slower and more overstable flight than the Dart offers. If you want to learn a little bit more about these guys, check out this video. And here's a look at some of the other stuff I carry in my signature Pound Disc Golf Octothor. All right, I'll take you around the outside of the bag first before we crack it open. I've got the Innova Dew Fly towel, easy access to that to get dust or water off of the discs. I've got this cool little thing that a fan kind of hand carved for me. It's got the N on one side for me, a B for Brianna, my wife, a C for Coraline, and a teeny little J for my dog Joby. So a nice little thing that he gave me that reminds me who I'm playing for when I'm out here. Got a couple pins, Innova pin, Oregon State University pin, this little Iron Man guy somebody gave me that was kind of cool with a Lego head. State of Oregon disc golf pin over here. And then this I just got, certified old guy, 20-year PDGA member. It really has flown by so far, hoping to do 20 more. As far as minis, you might know if you've seen my in the bags before, but I use these minis from my wedding. They were the party favors that we had there, and we had a 5-hole mini golf course. My wife even played it in the wedding dress, got some cool pictures. So that's the mini that I always use. As far as in the pockets, I've got this bike water bottle, carry Noon hydration tablets, so I'll put some water in here, put one of those tabs in there, and then I have some flavored electrolyte enhanced water to drink. Got my sunglasses. I've got spray sunscreen, cream, sunscreen, hand warmers, because I play in Washington. I'm hoping I won't need them here, but every once in a while I need those. Here are those hydration tabs that I keep in here so I can have some flavor in my water. Little spray hand sanitizer for these COVID times we're living in. I've got some Sharpies and some golf pencils. And then in this little side pocket, I've got some disc golf essentials, 2 chapsticks, 2 nail clippers, this little like hand solve, which is especially important in these dry climates. And other than that, just like loose change in case I ever find a quarter. That's where it goes. All right, I'll give it a little turn so we can get to the other side. Right now on this side, all I'm carrying is 1 extra destroyer. I might figure out a way to fit that in the main pocket, but while I'm practicing, I'll often have a couple loose discs over here while I'm still trying to figure out my lineup. In the big long pocket, I have mask, Joma's Pro mask, another towel, sandpaper block for fixing damage to discs from asphalt or gravel or anything like that. Hat, I really like these soft hats that don't get crinkled up when you stuff them in your bag. Resistance band to help me with some disc golf strong warm-up stuff. Oh, cell phone in this pocket. And then this little side pocket is just keys and a nice Grip 6 wallet. That's about it for everything I carry in my tournament bag. A lot of little goodies that I've learned to be really important to me when I'm playing tournaments for all the different things you can run into. This is the most comfortable bag I've ever worn, the best discs I've ever thrown, so I'm well taken care of. Thanks a lot for checking out my 2021 in the bag. All right, let's get out of here. It was worth a try. Don't roll on their green.